Back for a fourth installment, and just in time for Valentine's Day, is one of our favorite rom-com characters of all time, Bridget Jones. This is in theaters worldwide, but in the U.S. it is available on Peacock. Let's talk about Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. This is streaming on Peacock if you're like me in the United States, but worldwide it is given a theatrical release. I think that maybe makes sense based on the popularity of this character in certain territories. Yeah, Renee Zellweger back, of course, as Bridget Jones, and some old friends returning too, and we make some new friends here, and we'll get into the plot specifics here in just a second. But first, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are one of my Dan Reviews It subscribers, thank you so much for that. Always love having you guys return to check out my videos. But if you're not, please consider subscribing and click that notification bell too, so you get the alerts for all my video drops. We do all things movie and TV here on the channel, and just about every day something new goes up. So you could also like this video, comment below. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. All right, so we've got Bridget Jones in the fourth film, Mad About the Boy, and this was screenplay written by Helen Fielding, who created the character, and I don't know if there's a novel for this one too. I think there is. And Helen Fielding helped adapt it with Dan Mazer, who helped out with the last one, and then Abby Morgan, who is new to the franchise. And this was directed by Michael Morris, who is also new to the franchise. Editions 1 and 3 were both directed by the same person. Then 2 was directed by somebody else. 4 is directed by somebody else. So usually we get, sort of uneven quality sometimes with a lot of different directors. But since you have the return of Helen Fielding to sort of ease the screenplay along, and of course Renee Zellweger, I think this actually does feel a lot like a Bridget Jones movie. But that's more for the review portion. Let me tell you briefly what it is about. So we've got Bridget Jones back, who is a single mother now, a widow, navigating parenthood, work, and modern dating with the apps and everything else, with the support of her friends, family, and her former partner, Daniel Cleaver, who is played by Hugh Grant. He returns, which is lovely to see. And she re-enters the dating world, finds herself dating a younger guy, but also forming an unexpected connection with her son's science teacher, who is kind of gruff around the edges, but she likes the results that he gets from the kids. And he is played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Leo Woodall is the young love interest, who was in the Netflix series One Day, which I know was pretty popular. And he was also in the second season of White Lotus, so you might recognize him from that. So yeah, once again, we have Bridget Jones in a love triangle. I mean, that is sort of her classic motif, right? But of course, Mad About the Boy could be construed a couple of different ways. She obviously has feelings for this young man that she's dating, but her own boy, is getting a bit older. I mean, he was born, Bridget Jones's baby was 2016? So yeah, it makes sense, because I think the kid's about 8 or 9 or 10 here in this movie. So time-wise, that tracks. And we have that classic, love triangle that Bridget Jones is known for. You also have Emma Thompson here as well, playing Dr. Rawlings, her doctor, and really kind of her friend as well. And then Jim Broadbent and Gemma Jones return as her mother. And you have Isla Fisher as Bridget's new neighbor as well. She is new to the scene. But that's all really I'll even say about the plot. It's a classic Bridget Jones love triangle. But she is also, trying to navigate, like I mentioned, all of these new things in her life. Just recently getting over, the loss of, what's his face from, from the other movies. And that is obviously, stricken her with grief, but also she's got to be strong for her son. And also, it's been a couple of years, as we learned in the intro, so she is ready to move on to the dating scene again. And so in a way we get a more mature Bridget, but also with all of those sort of personality quirks and tics that we've come to know to love. about this character and really this franchise. I was actually thinking as I was watching it, do we have any like rom-com franchises like this? On occasion, we'll get like a sequel, like one kind of follow-up. But I mean, the biggest rom-coms of all time that I can think of from the last, 30 years or so, 40 years, When Harry Met Sally, Love Actually, Notting Hill, none of those have gotten sequels. So it is something of an anomaly that not only have we gotten 4 of these Bridget Jones movies, but they've all been pretty solid. I mean, the only other one I could think of, which is diminishing returns for sure, is the Big Fat Greek Wedding, which the first one is like amazing, and then the second one is not very good, and the third one is about on that same level as the second. But here, they're all actually pretty solid movies. I would have to rewatch, I guess, the first one again to see how it stacks up now. I sort of watched it when I watched all of them actually when the third one came out. I had never seen any of them. So before Bridget Jones' Baby came out, I watched the first and the second one, and I thought, well, these are really cute. Renee Zellweger is great in the role. But they did seem, a little basic rom-com-y and stuff. But I would imagine as a look back, the first one probably does stand up as one of the best rom-coms of the last 25 years, I would imagine. And I think 2 and 3 are not that far behind, and this is kind of on that same level. Zellweger is great in the role. I mean, this is the role that really pushed her to stardom. Yes, she had a wonderful turn in Jerry Maguire, but this really kind of kickstarted her, I think, as a leading lady. I mean, following this, you had Chicago and some of her more dramatic roles and all of that. And, of course, she won an Oscar for her portrayal of Judy Garland a few years ago. I think she is very, very talented, and I love her as this character. And I love that we've got sort of those same basic building blocks of the Bridget Jones character and the Bridget Jones, classic love triangle and everything, but in a bit of a more mature way. I mean, she's not a complete, bumbling, I don't want to say bumbling idiot, because Bridget Jones was never that, but, just the way she was in that first movie. Obviously, she was in her, I don't know, 20s, late 20s, maybe in that first movie, mid 20s. I don't know how old Renee Zellweger is, but something like that. And now she's obviously, in her 40s and trying to figure out where she belongs in this world while raising her kid. And I think, it raises some interesting points about how society maybe feels about that, and how society feels about, dating younger people and being a single mother. And, and all of that is touched on in this movie, but she's still the same Bridget at her core. And I think that's really important. So look, I think this is, it's smart to drop it on Valentine's weekend, that's for sure. But you can check this out on Peacock if you're in the U.S. and theatrically worldwide. I leave Bridget Jones Mad About the Boy with a B. This is another solid entry in a series that really just keeps giving. I could use one of these every 10 years, just catching up with Bridget and her family. So, all right, thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It. I'll see you next time.